Okay, we're in Hakdama Vayel Moshe, page Yud, in the middle of the second column, about 8 or 9 lines down. The first word in the line is Kamoy, and I'm starting in the middle of the line here. And the reason why I separated this out is because this is a section about a new question, the question that Tzionim always bring up, which is, why don't the poskim bring down the Shalosh Shavuos? And if they don't bring it down, the Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring it down, why do I have to keep it? Doesn't that prove that it's not halacha? Okay? You ever heard people ask that question?
Yeah, a lot of times.
That's one of the most common questions people ask. Why don't the Shulchan Aruch and the Tur and the Rambam bring down the Shalosh Shavuos? And if they don't bring it down, doesn't that prove that we don't poskim like it? So you can address that question now. V'hinei Ikar HaYesod Shel Isser Shalosh Shavuos Lo Mavur Kol Kach.
Where is it?
We're in the 8 or 9 lines down from the top in the second column. The last word in the line is Isser. Okay?
Yeah, I heard people say that, so I got
it. Right, that's what they want to say. It's a gadata, it's not halacha.
But again, the consequences are very severe for breaking them, so don't just do this gadata. Because look at the severe consequences. I need my tears.
V'hinei ikar hayesod shel isser shal shvuos loy mavura kol kach heitev v'poskim. The main idea of the shalosh shavuos is not really brought down so much in the poskim. Kishar halachas acheres. It's not as much talked about as other halachas. Hamitzuin b'chol yoyim v'yoyim b'chol adoros. Because other halachas are more commonly practiced in all generations. Ukamasha kasav atur yoradei siman shin lam beis. Basically, his answer is that since the shalosh shavuos doesn't apply so often, it doesn't come up so often, that's why the Shulchan Aruch doesn't cover it. Take a look. He says the tur yoradei siman shin lam beis, but then leket shichru peah. The Torah says, I'm not going to speak about the dinim of the produce that falls down. Leket is when you're picking your field and something falls down, you have to leave it for the anim.
In Eretz Yisrael.
And it's not only Eretz Yisrael.
Oh, you're eating
shikha, yeah. Oh. Shikha is if you're plowing your field and you're not plowing, you're reaping your field and you drop something and you forget it, you don't come back and pick it up, you leave it for the anim. And peah is you leave off the corner of your field for the anim. So because nowadays we don't practice these laws because most people are goyim in our countries that we live. Therefore, I don't want to go on about these halachas at length, not even in brief. He doesn't even bring them down in the Torah. Even though it is possible during the Galus to be that there could be a country where most people are Jews, and you might have to practice these halachas. And that's taka the way it is today in many places in Eretz Yisrael, that there's Roiv Nachrim, Roiv Yidden. So we should have the Torah should have spoken about it. But since in the Torah's time there was no such place, he didn't want to go and write about these dinim. The Torah says another thing there, the dinei trumas and meisters, and the laws of trumas and meisters. Shekivan she'ein noig b'chutz la'aretz, since it doesn't apply outside Eretz Yisrael, he doesn't want to go on about them at length. And there, even though it was noig bizman hazeh, just only in Eretz Yisrael, right? Shavadai haya noig oz be'Eretz Yisrael. In the Torah's time, when the Torah was alive, those halachas were applicable in Eretz Yisrael. Because the Torah didn't find it important, and the Shulchan Aruch didn't find it important. Only the things that are negei and their place and their time. And the Shulchan Aruch, by the way, does talk about Trumas and Meisers. I guess the
base shows when the end of his life moved to Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah, he was not the end of his life. I think most of his life he was there. Okay, but the Torah doesn't. The Shulchan Aruch does, but he says the Torah says he doesn't want to write about something that's not negei in his place. That this is based on what the Chovos HaLevavos says, that if we only have a limited amount of time, we should only learn the things that are negei to us. He says that even in Masechta Gittin, which is something that we do learn bisman hazeh, and it is negei, but certain cases that come up there are very unusual, right? Person throws a get over the fence, and the wife is standing here and the husband standing here, and he throws it, and it comes within 4 amos of her, or something like that.
Or he sends a messenger across the sea.
So there are certain unusual cases that could come up, And the Talmud asked his Rebbe a question about one of those funny cases. And the Rebbe answered back with a lot of musar and rebuke to this Talmud. And he said, "Why did you ask me such a question?" He said, "Since you haven't yet learned all the things you have to learn, that things that people should never forget about at any time, they're always negea, like the mitzvahs, the things that are negea to your heart, the things that are negea to emunah, that you have to think about every moment. So lama yatrid nafshay b'shayla nachris. Why should you be busy thinking about this unusual question?" The herich sham b'choyves halvavos. The choyves halvavos goes on at length over there. Pirusha b'inyan zeh. That the choyves halvavos says that this Rebbe said to the Talmud that he swears that he's been studying for 35 years what he needs to know about the Gemara, and he never thought about this question that this Talmud thought of. So in other words, it's a question that's not really so negea. So there's a reason why I didn't think of it, so therefore don't ask it. Okay? He says that's why the Torah and Shulchan Aruch did not say the halachas that are negea, they're not negea in their time and place. The Torah is huge. And our time is very short and our mind is very small. We can't absorb it all. That we don't have the ability to understand perfectly even the things we have to know every moment. That's why they didn't spend time talking about things that don't apply in their times. In order not to take away from the time spent on things that are really relevant. That the Gemara says Rabbi Bar Avua met Eliyahu Navi, and Eliyahu Navi said that why don't you know a certain halacha that's in Hilchas Taharas, that a goyish kever is not metame, because he asked him, how could you be in the basic varis? You're a kohen. So Eliyahu Navi answered that it's a basic varis of goyim, so it's not metame.
Like an animal or something?
It says Reb Shimon Bar Yochai holds hivrei akumein metame b'oil. So he told him, why don't you know that? So he said, because I don't know Seder Taharas. He said, because I don't even know the fourth starting of the Mishnah that I have to know.
Who doesn't know? Who was?
Baba Bar Avua in the Moyer. He said, I still don't. I don't know perfectly, and of course he knew him better than anybody knows him today. But he said Ba'anivis on himself. I don't know perfectly. Let's say Moed, Nashim, Nezikim, and Kachim.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that he was supposed to know. And so I don't have time. You want me to know Seder Taharas and Seder Zraim? Pirish Rashi Zal B'Tmiyah Zraim Ein Noig B'Chutz La'aretz. The Zraim is not again in the outside of Eretz Yisrael. V'chein Taharas. Taharas.
And Kachim too.
They didn't keep. Oh, so what about Kachim? So the teretz on that is that Rashi says that Kachim, if you learn the halachas of Karbanis, it's as if you brought the korban. So Yidden outside of Eretz Yisrael are supposed to learn Karbanis too. Supposed to learn Zoachim, Menachas, Chul, and Erchin, Tamura. But
I think in this week's parsha you mentioned in your book about how the Chafetz Chaim told people to.
Right, the Chafetz Chaim used to say to prepare for the Geula. He wanted people to learn the halachas of Kachim. That's also a good reason, right? Because the Geula might come. But then, for that reason, you should learn Zorim and Taharas too. Mm-hmm. So that's not going to help us here. Here we want to say pshat why they didn't learn things that are not negei b'zman hazeh. So they didn't learn Zorim, they didn't learn Taharas, but Kachim they did learn because Kol Haloi made Parashas Oila is Kilu Makrib Oila. Okay, Uva Tshuvas Lechem Rav. Shalos Tshuvas Lechem Rav. There is such a sefer, but I don't think anybody ever found the quote that the Rebbe is about to bring. I looked in a couple of svarim there on Vayol Moshe Bahir and the Or Kitoiv. They didn't find this Lechem Rav. But Shuvas Lechem Rav Shavim Koimos She'ena Malchus Noisenes Rishus Lipsoik B'dinim Ominous, places where the government doesn't allow Rabbanim to poskin on monetary questions. So even the greatest Rabbanim don't know so well Chosh Mishpat in those places because they don't practice it, so they don't know it. Yan she'en oiskim b'hem, because they're not busy poskin in those shilas. So therefore, that's why people spend more time on things that are negea to them, even if they are in Shulchan Aruch. So the inyan zeh shall his oiris tenu alav or al shvuos. This subject of having a Zionist movement to go and conquer Eretz Yisrael and be over on the Shavuos, halalu lo matzinu. We don't find such a movement in most of Jewish history. Mimei ben Koziva, from the time Ben Koziva, which is like 60 years after the Churban, ad zmanoi shel Rambam, until the time of the Rambam, shehu le'erech elef shanim, it's about 1,000 years. And then the Rambam's time, there was that false Mashiach in Yemen. Rambam talked about it. V'chein bizmanoi shel Rambam ad yimei hashatz, from the Rambam's time until Shabtai Tzvi, which is another 400 years, 500 years actually. V'chein acher zmanoi shel hashatz, after the time of Shabtai Tzvi, ad achshav b'doreseinu eila, until our generations, until the 20th century. We don't find a movement that was coming to be over on the Shavuos. Al Kapanim chalfu v'avu harba me'ah shanim. We see that many centuries passed, during which shalei Allah alev shum adam lavar al zeh, that no one even had to have a minute to be over on the Shavuos. V'lei chashvu klal al kach. They never even thought about it. Mimela haya davar she'enu matzui klal. It was something that wasn't negay too much to actual everyday life. That's why the poskim in all generations they didn't see any need to speak about it. That's why they don't speak about it. Anyone who pays attention to the Sfarim that do talk about it, they'll find very clear matters. They'll find that it's very clear that it isn't Isser. And now this explains why the Shulchan Aruch and the Torah don't bring down the Shalosh Shavuos, but of course the Rambam is still a kasha, because the Rambam brings everything down. The Rambam makes a promise he's going to bring every single halacha and shas down, whether it's Negei B'zman Hazeh or it's not Negei B'zman Hazeh. So on the Rambam, it's takash fair why the Rambam didn't bring the Shalosh Shavuos. And in the body of the Sefer, the Rebbe is going to discuss that Barichas, starting in Simon Lamed Gimel. He's going to discuss in Simon Lamed Aleph, actually, he's going to discuss why the Rambam left out the Shalosh Shavuos. And his answer in Simon Pei is going to be that the Shavuos are not be'etzem real oaths, but the real Indian of the Shavuos is that it's apikorsis. To believe that the Geula could happen in a way that the Torah doesn't say. The Torah says it will happen with Tshuva first, and then Mashiach will come, and he'll be the one bringing the Yidden back from Golus. And to think that it could happen in any other way is apikorsis.
Yeah, all the Hilchas, Malachim, and Mashiach will be useful.
So that's how the Rambam did bring down the Shalosh Shavuos in a sense, because he brought down the halachas of Mashiach and the halachas of Tshuva before